that little white ball. The Cardinals have been hitting it, catching it, and pitching it brilliantly all year. And that includes Jeff Suppan, a 13-game winner who tries to help the Cardinals complete the sweep over San Diego tonight, next on FSN Midwest. We are glad you're with us on FSN Midwest. Tonight is the finale of this three-game set with the San Diego Padres. Cardinals going for the sweep this evening. What is to come? How about earlier this afternoon, even though he's won 3 batting titles, Larry Walker at 4 o'clock was taking extra batting practice. Only had 2 hits last night. How about Jim Edmonds? How do you get locked in during games? You take extra BP and work on it. He is not satisfied, and neither are these Cardinals. They want more. And we're happy to sit here and watch it night after night. I'm Joe, that's Al, and you know, it's interesting to watch this team work behind the scenes, and we've shown Mike Matheny work behind the plate. We've shown some different things, some tutorials that Matheny went through with Molina, the extra work in the outfield. This is a team that is certainly not resting on its laurels whatsoever.
Not at all. And one of the reasons why some of the hitters are starting to work earlier as the late shadows, they're finding out it's almost like a game that starts at 5 o'clock they're having trouble seeing. So Edmonds and Walker are starting to take earlier batting practice and then maybe take 4 or 5 swings closer to game time and just trying to get locked in.
Let's talk about the pitching and look at our Ford Dealers key matchup, and it's a matchup tonight of 2 guys who have been piling up victories since the All-Star break. Jeff Suppan and Jake Peavy. How about that ERA for Peavy?
Well, I'm going to tell you something later on in the game, but I have a very reliable source and a good source that says that he is the best young pitcher in baseball, and they'll take Peavy over Pryor, Wood, or anybody you want to name. They think Jake Peavy's the best.
Let me ask you this, though. Has Peavy been sitting there watching the first 2 nights? Does Peavy read the newspaper?
Yeah, he read the quote from David Wells saying the Cardinals are beatable.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. But you know what? He's a great young pitcher. He's got great athleticism. He's got very good stuff, and he's really a tough competitor.
Well, we've already won the game up here. It's nice when the announcers are all pumped up and braggadocious, isn't it? When we come back, Dan McLaughlin will talk about Edgar Renteria, the best shortstop in the National League. More on that with Dan on the other side of this break.
Cardinals once again will go for the sweep tonight here in downtown St. Louis as they take on the San Diego Padres. Former Padre, former Cardinal, Ozzie Smith tells us Edgar Renteria is one of the best in the game right now.
Having the opportunity to watch Renteria, you know, he has great hands, has that instinct that you look for at being in the right place at the right time and being able to make a play without necessarily having to play up a certain way. He's probably one of the best that I've seen at that. Very consistent, makes the routine play day in and day out, and that's the one thing that I think sets the guys apart. There are guys that make great plays, but they can come back and mess up the routine play. And making the routine play is the basis of being a good shortstop, and he certainly does that.
That's the Bank of America higher standard, Ozzie Smith. Now, one thing that Ozzie will talk about later tonight on the Midwest Sports Report is just how good this team is defensively, in particular, Renteria. A couple of Gold Gloves, a Silver Slugger Award, Edgar Renteria and Ozzie Smith, our Bank of America higher standard. Now, that's just a portion of the conversation that you'll hear with the Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith. He'll talk about this team being one of the best offensive teams he's ever seen in the game of baseball. Tonight and again tomorrow night, Ozzie Smith on the Midwest Sports Report. We head to another timeout. When we come back, we've got Cardinal baseball. The Hall of Famer, our thanks to him, Ozzie. Padres and Cardinals Game 3 is coming up.
Ander will try to do what Chris Carpenter did last night, become a 14-game winner, and he is the Cardinals' half of the Advanced Auto Parts pitching matchup.
Jeff Suppan's got a chance to set a new career high in wins with the victory here tonight. It's a guy that consistently gives you 6 innings, throws on both sides of the plate, changes speeds, and utilizes his great defense.
Wow, what a play. Chops to third.
Roland makes a dandy play. Oh, what a play. Fair ball, barehanded. Oh, what a play.
look at the Cardinal defense as we highlight Scott Rowland, which we do during the game so many times. We go around the horn. It's brought to you by Auto Tire. Renteria, Womack, and Pujols join Scott Rowland on the infield. Mabry tonight. Edmonds and Walker. Molina does the catching. His body is finally right after that collision in Pittsburgh. Bruce Bochy is hoping to at least get out of town here with a victory.
Bruce Bochy said he's given up. He said, I surrender.
This is the lineup anyway that he has put together, hoping to get some runs against the Cardinals. Obviously, these Padres have a ton of talent and a lot of confidence coming into this game. Ramon Vasquez is leading off, and Loretta, Giles, Nevin, Klesko. Long is in there tonight. Khalil Green, Ramon Hernandez, and Jake Peavy pitching and batting ninth. First up is Vasquez. Last night as a pinch hitter, singled the opposite way. That was against Tavares, and Suppan starts it with a strike over the inside corner. Jeff is coming off a victory, which he picked up against the Pirates.
Young player, Vasquez, play all the infield positions.
1 ball, 1 strike. Vasquez last night with that base hit against Tavares, an impressive piece of hitting when he just stuck the bat out and put it between the third baseman and the bag. Seems to have a stroke going that way, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. A couple of finals from the National League. Milwaukee beat Pittsburgh. Florida wins again. They win at the Mets. And so the Marlins are right there, 2.5 out at the moment, wild card.
Cubs off tonight.
So they'll stay right there. Padres with a chance to pick up half game, and the count stays 1-2. We understand that the Cubs did not make their way down to Florida, where they are supposed to head after their series in Montreal. They went back to Chicago because of the threatening weather and the hurricane that's due to hit there maybe tomorrow night or sometime Saturday morning.
Well, that could put a monkey wrench into everything.
Oh.
And I wonder if the National League would maybe try to reschedule those games in Chicago. Cubs obviously probably would go for that.
Here's a 2-2. Vasquez hits it to Edgar. 1 out. Or it could be one of those deals where they just scratch the whole series and it's something you pick up at the end, but then what does that do to the entire postseason schedule?
Yeah,
then you're playing into November.
Yeah, you can't do that. That would throw, because of the potential that either one of those clubs are going, that would, and it's a 3-game series, I would assume.
They have to play them, and I guess you're right. I mean, if maybe they could schedule it a neutral site as opposed to giving the Cubs a home field advantage, but it might be just easier to play at Wrigley. There's a strike to Loretta.
I'm going to hand you something, and when you have time, I want you to read this because it's worth mentioning.
With 1 out, nobody on. Loretta hitting .342. Chops it off his leg. It's 0-2. 2 out of 7 in this series. But a guy who has been so good in the number 2 spot for Bruce Bochy this year.
Most hits in the National League, making a run at a batting title. .342 average, and Loretta has just really come into his own once he left Milwaukee. Loretta was playing in Milwaukee. He played all the infield positions, but he was also one of those guys that never was really considered the starter. Considered like a 300 hitter, but not much power.
On 1-2, that's into left field, and it's going to be another hit for Loretta. 1 on, 1 out. The story that Al handed me is terrific. McDonald's donated all of Big Mac land tonight as an auction item in their recent fundraiser for the Ronald McDonald House. As part of tonight's festivities, Odell Terry, an 11-year-old staying at the Ronald McDonald House for the past 5 months, awaiting a double lung transplant, is to throw out the first pitch. All day long he'd been at the house, barely able to sit still because, in his words, today's going to be the best day of his life. Well, moments ago his family got the word that a donor had been found, and he's scheduled for surgery right now. So Odell was right. This is the best day of his life. And we wish Odell Terry, the entire Terry family, good luck on the surgery. And they say rest assured that McDonald's and the Cardinals will let you throw out a first pitch in another series as soon as you're recovered and able to get back here. What a great story. 2-0 is the count on Brian Giles with a runner at first, 1 out.
I couldn't read that without tearing up, so
that's why you passed
leave it the best the best to do it. But that's a great story, and man, we forget and we're reminded daily about how fortunate we are and our children.
That is for sure. 1 on, 1 out, 2 balls, no strikes on Giles. And that is on the inside corner, not according to Giles, but according to Dale Scott, the home plate umpire.
Soup needs to throw on both sides of the plate, try to keep everything out of the middle of the plate, particularly in the strike zone. And for the most part, he's done a very nice job, giving consistently 6 innings and his team a chance to win.
Here's a 2-1 to Bryant. That is hammered into right field. That pitch was up and Giles' eyes lit up. Walker kicks it in right. Now he overthrows the second baseman, compounds the problem, and it's second and third, 1 out. That'll be an error on Larry Walker, and you can chalk up 1 physical error and 1 mental error on the throw after it.
See, there's the physical error, and then he thought about trying to get the guy out at third base. So there's the high throw, which allows Giles to go to second base without a throw. Would have been runners at first and second. Now it's second and third, and a great opportunity for their best offensive threat, Phil Nevin.
Guy was kicked out of the game last night for arguing a called third strike. And Suppan is in a first inning jam. Second and third with 1 out. The pitch is high and tight. On deck is Klesko. At the plate is a guy who has 83 RBIs.
Nevin thought that. I asked him if he checked the video of the pitch, the called strike, the 0-2 pitch. He said it was much better than he thought, but his argument was second strike, or the first strike, was inside, so felt he couldn't protect both sides of the plate, and most hitters will tell you they can't.
Man is working third tonight. Brian Gorman is the one that booted him.
And Bruce Bochy told Nevin, he said, the show that you put on and everything, he said, I would have thrown you out too. He said, you can't do that. You got a responsibility of the ball club. And Bruce also said that Phil was much better than he was a few years ago. It's still a learning process.
Here is a 1-1 up and away. We go back to last night and look at the pitch that led to his ejection. He argued this pitch on a strike 3 from Carpenter.
He did admit it was just a perfect pitch, but his point being that on strike 1, it was a pitch on the inside part of the plate, and I, as a hitter, can't protect both sides. And Bochy said, what about the hanging slider on strike 2? That's the one you should have crushed.
Ball 3 misses inside from Suppan. And Suppan is in a tight spot.
And Bruce told him, he said, I can't protect you when you do what he did, the long stroll and throwing the batting gloves out there and then turning around and saying something to the ump when they were looking for it.
Nevin trying to put San Diego on top. Full count.
Soup not a strikeout pitcher, but now he's got the situation where he desperately wants that or a pop-up on the infield.
For Nevin this year, that's not a very good ratio. 18 out of 36 with a runner at third, less than 2 out.
And it's just an easy RBI.
On 3-2. Nevin strikes out, 2 down. A 3-2 fastball, and Nevin missed it.
Well, he reached back for that one and challenges him. Just old-fashioned hardball right there. Out over the plate, and Jeff won battle 1.
Now it's up to Klesko for San Diego. Padres trying to grab their first lead of this series. Cardinals won game 1. They won game 2 last night behind Carpenter. Good bullpen work last night, and now tonight at Suppan, and there's ball one to Klesko. On deck is Terrence Long. Long is in there tonight. Burrows is not. Vasquez is playing his defensive position at third. Klesko batting in his usual 5 spot, takes a strike. And the count evens 1-1. Second and third, 2 out, the 1-1 pitch. 2-1. There we've seen Suppan wanting to work and trying to work both sides of the plate as he's missed the last couple with Klesko in the inside part.
A lot of times, though, these guys will throw their cutter to the left-handed batters in. Change up.
Working with the young Yadier Molina. That stat of quality starts, something that agents dreamed up and we've made light of in years past, but it's important this year. Here's a 3-1. That loads them up. The Cardinals are #1 in Major League Baseball with 80 quality starts. What's a quality start? 6 or more innings allowing 3 runs or less, which is something that, as we said, agents came up with for arbitration to try to get more money for their pitching clients. However, if you've got 80 quality starts and you lead the big leagues and you're the Cardinal pitching staff and you've got this kind of offense behind you, you're holding the opposition down to 3 runs or less through 6 innings. I mean, you're giving yourself a chance to win the game night after night because the Cardinals have the best lineup in the game.
Not only that, but Dave Duncan will tell you it's been a major factor, the success for the bullpen. As you're getting into the latter third of a game, your bullpen stays fresher.
Terrence Long pops it up. Thank you very much. Edmonds waits on the other end of it. And the Padres leave the bases loaded. Their frustration in St. Louis continues. Cardinals coming up. Bottom of the first. Peavy has been outstanding. And Al told us during the open that he's been told by a respected baseball person, as you look at his numbers, that this guy's as good as it gets as far as young pitchers in the National League.
They say that, you know, they take him over Pryor, Wood, anybody you want to come up with. Jake Peavy is the package. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. His second best pitch is a changeup. The one thing, he's got a little bit of a oblique muscle strain, and they said that he probably will not see many sliders from him tonight, but very athletic and a very tough competitor.
His first to Womack is on the outside corner, and we're underway in the bottom of the first. I'm sure Peavy was sitting over in the dugout counting on a first inning lead when the Padres had second and third, only 1 out after the error. Nevin was up. Count was 3-1, but Suppan did great work to come back and strike out Nevin. He walked Klesko and got Long on a pop up into center.
You bring up a great point. That's something that pitchers have to guard against, is counting those extra runs when they're sitting in the dugout. You just pitch your game, let the offense take care of their share.
Talking to his catcher Ramon Hernandez as an 0-2 pitch comes home and Womack strikes out. So Womack is gone, but here's the rest of the Cardinal lineup as Walker steps in. Larry's homered in this series. Albert Pujols will follow. Then Roland, Edmonds, Renteria. Mabry is in left tonight. Yadier Molina catching. And Suppan, the red hot hitting Jeff Suppan, is batting ninth. Cardinals are talking about and have been quoted referring to Rick Ankiel's side session and how good it looked. You know, the Cardinals are just as anxious to see him because they haven't seen him on his way back up the chain. That's a bullet out to second base. Loretta gets it on the backhand, 2 out. And so that first Ankiel debut should come along here shortly. Maybe it's tonight or over the weekend against the Dodgers. I'm sure the Cardinals don't want him to sit too long without pitching. Auto tire. Go around the horn. Klesko, Long, Giles in the outfield. Vasquez, Green, Loretta, Nevin. And Ramon Hernandez, third night in a row he's catching. Tonight it's Jake Peavy in the middle. Albert with 2 out. Pops it up. That may stay in play. That will stay in play, and Hernandez missed it. Johnny Bench is the official score tonight, and he's given Ramon Hernandez an error.
Tough play right up around the screen, but I think Hernandez will be the first to tell you that he should have caught it. It's his 4th error of the season. Anytime you give Albert Pujols new life, you know, you're not doing your pitcher a favor.
I say don't give a good team more than 3 outs. Don't give a good hitter a second chance. Although Peavy makes a nasty pitch, and it's 0-2. What will this big crowd, and it appears to be the bigger crowd of the 3-game series, what will they see tonight from this Cardinal team? 0-2. That's driven into left field. Is it going to carry? You bet. They gave him another chance, and Albert says thank you, number 43. And the Cardinals lead 1-0. Let's look at Albert's reaction when Hernandez dropped that foul ball. Muttering to himself, and then this is what awaited all of us.
And
number
boy,
43.
43 ties his career high in home runs, set last year. So, I mean, it's just amazing.
Rolling, strike 1.
The numbers that Albert puts up year after year. I mean, every year when he had the rookie year, you sit there and go, oh my gosh, it's one of the greatest rookie seasons, if not the greatest Cardinal rookie season. Sophomore year, go right on down the line.
What a great sophomore year. This is one of the best sophomore years. How about this 3rd year? Can you believe that? And now here in his 4th year, he is setting new standards.
It's unbelievable. And don't stop.
There's no doubt he was pressing at the beginning of the year after getting the big contract. That's obvious by now. But what a shrewd move to get him locked into a long-term deal before this 4th season started.
And anybody who thought that the Cardinals overpaid, think again.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Hernandez committed the error, and then on that ball that Pujols hit, the left fielder Klesko didn't even move out in the outfield. Full count. On 3-2, Roland takes a walk. That'll bring in the hot Edmonds. So what will that little error on the pop-up lead to for Peavy? Edmonds now with a .309 average, 38 home runs and 98 RBI.
Take care of that, don't you?
Get up to the century mark right here. Into right center field. Is it going to get up and out? You can't give a good team more than 3 outs. It's 3-0. Up to 100 RBIs and all of the runs in this inning thanks to that drop. That led directly to Albert Pujols clubbing number 43 and Jim Edmonds hitting number 39 for 100 RBIs. Renneria, strike 1.
Jim Edmonds, his career high in home runs is 42. You know, that's very obtainable.
You're looking at a dugout filled with a lot of veterans who have seen a lot of baseball, who know better than any Cardinal fan watching or any Cardinal announcer announcing that seasons like this come once in a lifetime. And this group is really enjoying every minute of it.
They're enjoying it, but boy, are they professional about it. And Hernandez.
Sorry.
Yeah. Don't worry, your ERA didn't take a beating, but.
Wow.
And that's not what he said, but you know that catcher, Hernandez, feels terrible about it. Bruce Bochy was talking earlier. He said, you know, I surrender. It is unbelievable what the Cardinals have done against the Padres. They have gone 32-6 against the Padres since the start of the '99 season. And are 18-2 over San Diego at Busch Stadium during that same time. How do you explain that?
Remember before that streak started, though, the Cardinals couldn't beat San Diego.
Yeah, we couldn't win there, right?
Renneria is out and the inning is over. Remember the other night when we showed you Edmonds reacting after his home run to a Renneria home run? Here's Albert after his home run reacting to Jim Edmonds' home run. You can celebrate in the dugout, but turn around quick. You might miss something. It's by Pujols and Edmonds supporting Suppan in a 3-0 Cardinal lead after one. So look at these three. Rolen, Pujols, and Edmonds have all gone deep in this series. Pujols more than once, Edmonds more than once. In fact, he's done it 3 times. And you look at those numbers, just staggering across the board.
114 home runs, 320 RBIs in a trio. And will they knock each other off in the MVP battle?
Here's an 0-1. Ball and a strike on Khalil Green, who would seem to be the front runner for National League Rookie of the Year. I think so.
He and Jason Bay.
Yeah. 1-1
another
pitch.
good one.
I think, to answer your question, I think it will affect.
Yeah, I mean it's got to, because you could have a great barroom argument or kitchen table argument as who's the MVP of the Cardinals.
Forget the league, and then you look at a guy like Bonds. I mean, the Giants wouldn't be close.
Beltre.
And Adrian Beltre of the Dodgers, first place team in the NL West. They're just so far and away the best players on each team. That's Edmonds in center. There's nobody better at initially finding a fly ball, then turning away from it, putting his head down and running to the spot, and then finding it again. So many guys are just scared to take their eyes off it at all, and Edmonds is not one of those.
Well, you see, you just know your ballpark. Just put his head down and start running to the point where he thinks it's going to come up, and then you start looking, relocate it. You feel the change of surface going from grass to the warning track. You have a little understanding. You go out there during batting practice and run back on that track and know how many strides it takes before you hit the wall.
With one out, here's Ramon Hernandez, who committed that costly error in the bottom of the first. There's a strike on the inside corner.
You just watch Suppan and just how he effortlessly just pinpoint control.
Here's an 0-1 to Hernandez. 1 ball, 1 strike. For a guy like Edmonds, though, that plays as shallow as he plays, I guess you have to be willing to turn away from the ball and run to spots and then try to pick it up again. There's nobody better at that than Edmonds. You always see Torrey Hunter of Minnesota making plays on the wall. Remember how we were surprised when the Twins were here a couple of years ago at how deep he starts out in center field and how many balls fall in front of him.
So that Jim has the best of both worlds. He takes away a lot of hits in front of him playing shallow, but he has that ability to go back and make sensational catches at the wall.
Here's a 1-2 to Ramon Hernandez. Shortstop Edgar Renneria. That was a tricky little hop. Peavy, the pitcher, will bat with the bases empty, 2 down. It's a pre-Labor Day celebration for all Missouri and Illinois labor union members. Sunday, September 5th. This Sunday, the Cardinals and the Dodgers. It'll be Woody Williams and Jeff Weaver. In honor of Labor Day, the Cardinals have a special party room offer for union members and families. One special price gets you tickets in a party room, along with food, beer, and soda. Call the Cardinals 425-0600 More information and come on out here on Sunday.
Another reason to come out is Pasta House Coca-Cola Pennant Day, Family Sunday, Run the Bases Day, all on Sunday. But all 3 games for the Los Angeles series, there's plenty of tickets available.
Granted, it's the pitcher batting, but look how much green is behind Jim Edmonds in center field. That's not too far in front of where he typically plays. Renteria takes care of it. Peavy is gone. A 1-2-3 inning for Suppan. In the inning, first out, Edmonds. Thought where it may come down and then went to get it. Found it, made the catch. After an inning and a half, been one of the longest running golf tournaments in St. Louis. And they would love to have you a part of it. Mabry, thanks to a play by Peavy, knocking that ball down a bit, gets a base hit to start the second for the Cardinals.
How about what John Mabry has done of late? He is just under 400 in his last 15 starts. And back up the middle, knocked it down a little bit. You know, John's always going to be hustling. Doesn't have the greatest foot speed, but he'll never lose out on a hustle race.
Always puts his head down and runs as hard as he can to first, and now he's on for Molina. Yadier has been taking a beating. He did on that day game in Pittsburgh with a collision at the plate with Ty Wigginton. Took him a couple days to feel right after that, and then in the top of this inning got a foul tip that caught him. But such is the life of a catcher. And I'm sure Tim McCarver is watching down in Florida. If you are, Tim, be careful. Leave town. Get out of there. But he knows that all too well. No balls, 2 strikes on Yadier, hitting .255.
Yeah, they had a lot of hurricanes in Memphis.
He needs to get out. And that is an interesting story and something that we'll I'm sure find out more about shortly with regard to what the Cubs and Marlins are going to do about their 3-game weekend series. Molina to the left side, not hard hit, but they get both.
Molina's hurt.
Molina goes limping down to first.
Look at Tony's already out of the dugout, popped out to check him out. His ankle kind of got banged up in that one collision with Wigginton, as you said. Barry Weinberg puts an arm around him, talked to him a little bit. Let's watch from the get-go. See when he went to push off, just kind of collapsed on him a little bit. That almost looks more like a hamstring, doesn't it?
Hamstring, knee, ankle, calf, whatever.
And looking at the knee.
The Cardinals have 3 catchers here with the addition of Cody McKay. And we may see Cody or Mike Matheny take over behind the plate. First pitch is a strike to Suppan, who now has 2 hits. He went months without any. Gets to swing it again with a count 0-2.
Well, he got his first one going to right field, but that wasn't quite the way he wants to do it. He appreciated our humor. We gave him the reverse psychology. He said, Danny said he was going to get a hit, and I said, no way. He's going to go all year without a hit.
And then it happened?
And then it happened. And he told Danny he's going to, or Danny kind of told him about, hey, why don't you go to right field? I'm sure he never heard that before.
Never. Check swing, the count evens, 2-2. A lot of these guys, especially pitchers, don't have any option but to go to right field. Batting right-handed. The 2-2. He tried to go to right, but Nevin was standing in its way. The inning is over. A hit, a double play ball, and we'll see if Molina can continue. 3rd inning now, 3-0 Cardinals.
York with Max Kellerman tonight on FSN.
Well, Yadier Molina tried it. Cody McKay is going to come out and catch, and whatever was wrong with the knee, they were looking at the right knee of Molina. He came out to try to warm up Suppan, getting ready for this 3rd inning, and couldn't do it. So that's not good. While Suppan gets reacquainted with Cody McKay, we'll remind you College Football Saturday returns to FSN on Labor Day weekend, beginning with a showdown between bitter in-state rivals Colorado State. Then on Sunday, it's a special edition of College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera, Fresno State and Washington. I'll begin Saturday at 6:30 Central, only on FSN Midwest. Yadier Molina tried to go out there, Al, and warm up Suppan and continue in this game, but it wasn't to be, and we'll try to get some sort of feel as to what the deal is.
Well, looked like they were paying attention to his knee, and that's not an easy, position, squatting, catching, where you're putting a lot of pressure on that knee. It's not the best spot if you got something that's bothering you. And right now, he hates to come out of this game, but that's the right move to make.
So Molina has to leave with some trouble in his right knee, and Cody McKay, nice to have him around, takes over.
One of the reasons why he was brought up when you expand the rosters.
Athenia's probably over there thinking, am I not going to get a day off? And instead they went to McKay.
Yeah.
Mike needs some rest. That's one of the benefits of the Cardinals running away with the Central. They can really give a guy a day here, a guy a day there. They can get their rotation lined up the way they want, even though what they want, Al, might not be what everybody else wants, because the easiest debate you can find in town is who should be, let's say, an opening series starter for the Cardinals this year. But however they want to do it, they're going to have the luxury of being able to set it up that way.
Right, and you might have to wait till that final weekend to find out who your opponent is.
The Cardinals, if you remember the setup, the team with the best record, and that will likely be the Cardinals. Not definitely, but at this point it looks like that. Vasquez gets his second hit of the series, first of the night. The division winner with the best record plays a wild card team unless the wild card team comes from that division. So if the wild card team is Chicago, the Cardinals then would play the other of the division winners with the worst record. So you just don't know.
Don't know, and that's why Tony, it sounds simplistic to say, okay, I want to rest this guy and rest that guy, but you don't want to rest them to the point where they get out of this top-notch competitive spirit.
I think you said it the other day that some teams would argue that having to fight down to the bitter end, and then you get extended into the first round of that division playoff, and they've been playing that type baseball for the last few weeks, and it's just another game to them.
78, I was with Kansas City, and Boston had about a 14-game lead in August, and all of a sudden we woke up the first day of the playoffs, the day after the Bucky Dent home run. For 2 months we were assuming we were going to play Boston, and then all of a sudden the Yankees showed up. The Yankees didn't care. It was just one more pressure game for them, and they won that first game handily.
Here's an 0-1. That's off the end of the bat. That's going to fall in and right. Loretta with his second hit of the night, his 180th of the season, and it's first and third, nobody out. And here come the Padres in the third inning.
He really utilizes the entire playing surface. Got a career high in home runs, doubles. You see the adjustment there as he recognized the off-speed pitch like a split finger pitch, and it just hung up there for him. And the beauty of having that ability to wait is then you can spread out the field and you can dunk balls into the opposite field. You're not out in front.
Brian Giles now with first and third, nobody out, takes the ball. It's just amazing that a guy like Loretta, who's been playing as long as he's been playing and has been, at least earlier in his career, an everyday player, is having the kind of breakout year he's having now. As Giles takes a strike, it's 1-1. But the Padres are glad that he decided that 2004 would be the year that it would all click in.
I mean, you almost thought of him as an everyday player, but not. He wasn't good enough to play say, every day at second base. He'd play one day at second, one day at short, one day at third. Kind of move him around a little bit. He knew he'd hit close to 300, but didn't have a power, didn't have this, didn't have that. They gave him a chance to play, and they found out he's one of the best players on this team. And it's a good team.
Here's a 2-1. What a rip by Giles. 2-2. Loretta's 33. It's not like he's ancient by baseball standards. He hit .314 last year, so that was a glimmer and a little glimpse, I guess, of what was to come this year. And now he leads the league in hits. I'll say this for him, though. He's a career 300 hitter in the big leagues. The 2-2. Giles pops it up. Will it stay in play? No.
Jeff's had to make some pitches to these left-handed hitters. He's gotten in on them sufficiently enough to control their at-bats. Two pitch. Didn't want the sinker. Didn't want the fastball. Didn't want the curveball.
Giles golfs it into right center field. Edmonds will haul it in. 1 out. Tagging and scoring is Vasquez, and it's a 3-1 game. It was sacrifice fly RBI and number 80 in the RBI department for Giles. And Suppan, with the situation being what it was, if he can get out of this and limit it to a 1-run inning, would have to be happy. Runner at first, 1 down for Nevin.
I find when you have runners at the corners, a lot of pitchers make mistakes trying to keep the game perfect. Sometimes you're better off to just try to limit the damage.
Ball 1.
You know, accept that runner at third with nobody out probably is going to score, but make sure the guy at first base doesn't come around.
Nevin struck out in a key spot for the Padres in the first. San Diego had second and third, 1 out. Nevin had a 3-1 count. Suppan came back and struck him out. Then in the bottom of the inning, 2 out, nobody on. Pujols fouled to the catcher. He dropped it. Albert hit a home run. Roland walked, and Edmonds hit a home run. Now the Padres have a run here in the third. And a 2-0 count on Phil Nevin. Like a let up and a pop up for out number. Womack was surprised that Pujols got out of there. 2 out.
Well, you know, Albert is so aggressive as a first baseman, and I'm not sure if Tony was calling. I think he was, but you never know if Albert's going to vacate the area. And see Tony looking up, and all of a sudden now he's going, wait a minute. Since I'm the littler guy, I'll defer to whatever you said, but no harm, no foul.
1 on, 2 out now for Klesko. He walked in the first. The Padres had the bases loaded, and Terrence Long took the first pitch and popped out into shallow center. And then the Cardinals went to work. Strike 1. One thing you see with Suppan is a great variance in velocity. I mean, you see a fastball that'll be 88, one that's 90, one that's 93. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he has a pretty good command to where he can spot the ball in and out, up and down, change speeds. The remarkable thing about the Cardinal starters, they all basically throw the same stuff. Not with the same degree of quality, where Marquis has the best sinker. I think Carpenter has the best stuff overall. Woody Williams and Suppan are probably similar in the fact that they have to be a little more perfect than the others.
Probably more pitching savvy than the others.
And more pitching savvy.
The 2-1. 3-1 with Long next. That's why you think about a guy like Ankiel and what a difference maker he could be in the rotation next season, because obviously he's left-handed, but he's also a guy who can give you so many different looks at the plate. That great curveball, the above-average fastball. But right now it's Suppan on the mound. He's getting some support. 3 runs on 4 hits. Top of the 3rd. Here's a strike over the outside corner. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. I know there's one thing for certain. When you think Jazz in this great nation, you think Utah.
Right.
1 ball, 2 strikes. They say that, I think if I heard Brian Bartow right, Tim Garcia, that Molina took a foul tip off the knee, and that's why he had to leave. So that's the latest word that we get on the right knee of Yadier Molina, who had to leave in the top of the 3rd.
You'll talk to these catchers and they'll tell you chest protector, those shin guards do a lot of saving their body, but there are seams like right in through there, and sometime a foul tip will get in between.
Womack is on with a leadoff base hit.
Get in between and you'll get a foul tip right on the bone.
With 1 on, nobody out, Walker will be the hitter on this Schnucks date in baseball history. 1986, the Astros and Cubs play 14 innings and use a major league record 53 players.
Only happened in September.
Thank goodness one of the 2 of us is smart, because I'm sitting there going 53. You got 25 back then. It might have been a 24-man roster, and I don't think you can get up to 53 multiplying those 2 numbers by 2. So that is using just about everybody you've got. The Cardinals only added the 4 guys. They have a chance to potentially add 1 or 2 more if they desire. Walker was swinging for the fences. 1 ball, 1 strike, but Tony La Russa doesn't want to just bring guys up just to get guys up. He wants to bring them up if they've got a chance to help the team. Maybe the rare occasion just to give somebody the experience of being on a big league team, but that's not the case this year. Womack is running, and the catcher Hernandez couldn't get it out of his glove. Well, still in base for Tony, and Ramon Hernandez has had a rough night already.
His 21st steal for Tony, and also 330 in his career. 21, caught only 5 times, good ratio.
RBI chance now for Larry Walker. The count 2 balls and a strike. Now 2-2. Larry is driven in 37. He has hit 2 Cardinal grand slams. The 2-2 pitch. Walker checks it on a pretty good pitch down and in. 3-2. I haven't seen anything yet from Jake Peavy that would lead me to want him over Mark Pryor.
11-3 in an ERA 2 over a guy that's right around 500 this year. Peavy, and remember, they are a little sensitive to a strained oblique muscle, but he's pitching with it.
Here is a 3-2 pitch to Walker. Shattered bat that advances Womack over to third. 1 out. Albert Pujols will walk in. He homered his first time up, thanks to this miscue by Ramon Hernandez, dropping a foul pop-up. Another chance, and Albert made the most of it. That all happened with 2 out, then the walk to Roland and a home run by Edmonds. Runner at third, 1 out, ball 1. Showed the number with Nevin for a guy that's driven in 105 only 16 of 35 times as he knocked home a run in this situation. Runner at third with less than 2 out. That's a little flare into right. He's done it here, and it's 4-1 Cardinals. Pujols takes an extra base. Wow. He was trapped between first and second, acted like he was going back to first. Giles threw there, and Albert just kept on going.
Nothing surprises you, does it? Everything is aggressive. They score E9, but first, more importantly, the 106th run driven in by Albert Pujols as Womack gets the 4th run. There's what you're talking about. Very aggressive. He tried to throw back, thought he was going to go back. He goes forward and makes it.
Now Roland takes the ball.
Let's see where. I mean, how do you really give an error on that? There's the error, but it's. See him throw him behind, but he went forward.
So
that's just heads-up baseball.
He waits at second with 1 out. Roland hits it in the air to left. And that's right at Klesko, who literally didn't move except to lift his arm. 2 out.
Here's Bochy. Andy Bennis was here, and Andy was talking about Bruce Bochy. He played for Bruce, and what a great manager he is. Had a couple jokes about he was the 10th best manager that Andy played for in San Diego, but he was just kidding there. They really likes him. He said he was fun to play for. Keeps things very positive.
If they do not come back in this game, as Edmonds had to stretch out that left leg to get out of the way of that pitch, they will leave town. The Padres will 2 out in the wild card. They are playing while the Cubs are off, and the Cubs lead in that chase in the National League. Padres a game and a half out.
Well, the Padres really think that they still have a shot at winning their division. They play so well against Los Angeles. They were the 2nd best road record team coming into this series, second to the Cardinals.
That's on the outside corner, 2-1. Yeah, they're going to start having a round robin tournament now in the NL West with the Giants, Padres, and Dodgers.
Yeah, they're going to play the schedule that you should play. The last 2 weeks is going to be those 3 top teams are going to be battling each other.
And the team that benefits from all that, the Cubs. While those teams are banging on each other, the Cubs hope to build up a lead in the wild card. Jeff Suppan will head back to work. He has his 3-run lead back. The Cardinals get one driven in by Pujols. He has 2 RBI. Enjoying a little ice cream tonight as this game slips into the 4th inning, and the Cardinals are on top 4-1. Long, Green, and Hernandez will be the hitters against Suppan. Suppan's first is outside, ball 1. Just so you know, Al talked about San Diego in the NL West. San Diego starts the night 6 out. The Giants are 5.5 out. The Giants play tonight at home against Colorado, and LA is at Arizona. One ball, 1 strike on Long, who popped up with the bases loaded his first time, 2-1. During that last half inning, Cody McKay was seated on the bench, and sitting next to McKay the entire half inning was Mike Matheny talking about these Padre hitters. I'm sure Matheny's caught the first 2 games of this series, and about Jeff Suppan in particular. Falls behind 3-1.
There's been a little time in between as Cody McKay was down at AAA, and Suppan got on a pretty good roll, so you kind of remind him what's working.
that's a leadoff walk. Second walk of the night handed out by Suppan. 5 area residents are desperately in need of a life-saving bone marrow transplant. You could be the one. Join Mike Matheny, Cardinals Care, and BJC Healthcare for the Pitch for Life Bone Marrow Donor Drive. That is this Saturday, September the 4th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Carpenter's Hall. That's on Southampton. No charge for the first 800 donors. Donors must be age 18 to 60. Strike one to Khalil Green. Each participant will receive 2 complimentary ticket coupons for a 2005 game and will be eligible for attendance prizes. The process takes about 30 minutes. You could save somebody's life this weekend. Step up to the plate and help. More info, 773-4734.
And how appropriate we had that promo after the great news we found out today about Odell. So you know these things work. These transplants do save lives, and heaven forbid, you might think your family's healthy now, but never know.
Strike 2 on Khalil Green. 3 hits, 9 trips in this series. First time up, fly to center. Long drew a leadoff walk. Suppan trying to battle uphill and get over that. That's foul. In that LA Arizona game, it'll be Odalis Perez against Casey Fossum. And the former Red Sox prospect is 4-12 with Arizona. The Dodgers play out there, and then they head into St. Louis for the weekend series. Get in late. That's a base hit through the left side. 2 on with nobody out. Walking a hit. And Ramon Hernandez has had a tough night. Have a chance to make up for that. Tomorrow night, it is Adrian Beltre and the NL West leading Dodgers here in St. Louis. Could be a playoff preview. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here on FSN Midwest with Cardinals Tonight. Cardinals will have Matt Morris. The Dodgers will have 11-game winner Jose Lima.
Lima time. Well, that's fun with that. Anxious to see those Dodgers, see how well they've been playing. And plenty of seats available for all 3 games.
Here's a key hitter in this inning for Suppan after the first 2 reached.
I've got a list here of every home game available and where the tickets, how many tickets are available and everything, and there's no day that you couldn't come down here and find a pretty good seat.
Hernandez lines to center. Does not advance the runners. And it's 2 on with 1 out. The pitcher coming up.
Frustration continues.
Edmonds threw into the infield, overthrew Renteria, and who ends up with it? The pitcher.
Notice he's throwing right there, and Jeff backing up. Renteria is always a place to be alert. Give me a smile.
He's looking at a Renteria who turned and said something.
You were talking about before the game about what a class act Renteria is and what a great sense of humor.
He's just not totally comfortable with his English, but the more you get around him, and obviously his teammates know him so well, he's a real funny, real likable guy. His teammates love him. Diving try by Suppan. Rolen is there to make the play. What a play by Rolen for the out at first, 2 out.
How do you do that, Joe, when your pitcher laying right in front of you, you're down taking a ball that's almost stationary, trying to avoid stepping on your pitcher, and then you've got to throw with a guy running pretty good. Little pop-up. Jeff thinks he's got a chance for it. He didn't nick it. And now look at Scott Rolen with his pitcher right in front of him, and he just doesn't bother him at all. Womack does a good job of getting that throw and not getting run over at the bag, or get your hand in there and part of a collision. But look at Scotty. Barehanded, off balance throw, something on it, and look at the job by Womack concentration to stay in there, get the ball in the glove, but then get out of the way and don't get your arm broken with a pitcher running down the line.
Great effort by Suppan, just trying to grab it out of the air. And he might have a shot at an inning-ending double play. Rolen was there to save the play, get the out, and second and third, 2 out, with Ramon Vasquez at the plate. This guy gets a nice swing at it. And that's strike one. Vasquez singled. He's lined out, and he singled last night, 2 out of 3 in the series. He has 7 RBIs. He's hit 3 home runs. He has 7 hits and 50 at bats with the Padres.
Activated from the disabled list on June 20th. He had the oblique muscle strain. Second full season in the majors.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Appearing in his 117th game, saw action at second base, third base, and shortstop.
Oh, 1-1. Good pitch, inside corner, strike 2.
Been able to get in on these lefties.
What an opportunity for the Red Sox tonight. They beat Anaheim, and they're leading in the 6th inning at home over the Angels. They'll have a 4.5-game lead in the wild card. What a difference a week makes there. Here's a 1-2 to Vasquez. He went, and with the throw by McKay, the inning is over. So the Padres threaten to get a walk, a hit to start the inning, but don't do any damage. Bottom of the 4th inning. 4-1. The first 3.5. Key strikeout for Suppan to get Nevin with second and third. A key error by Ramon Hernandez led to a home run by Albert Pujols, made it 1-0. And with 2 out, a walk and a homer by Edmonds made it 3-0. Just tremendous play by Rolen on the bunt. Got the out. Moments ago, Suppan got out of the top of this 4th inning by striking out Vasquez with second and third. It's 4-1 with Renteria leading off and taking strike 2. 0-2. It's Edgar, then Mabry, then Cody McKay for his first at bat since his recall. That's going to be a tough play if it's fair, and it's foul.
Are you worried at all about Renteria's contract status?
Yeah. I think Edgar truly does want to come back. Oh, they call him out on a borderline pitch. The Cardinals obviously want to keep him, but what's the number in Edgar and his agent's mind that will make him happy and will keep him a Cardinal? And whatever that number is, it's either going to work or it isn't.
Yeah, I guess there's so much to be divvied up. Love to have you, but this is all we got.
Second strikeout there for Peavy. And here's Mabry. Ball 1. Mabry tonight singled an infield hit. What a lift he's been since coming up, forcing his way up from Memphis.
Well, and he goes down out of spring training with the right attitude. He wasn't 100% healthy in spring training, but he went down there, worked hard.
That won't leave. That's into right. Giles has to come in and get it. 2 up.
Produced well, and you just can't take away his attitude and what he brings to a clubhouse.
You read the quotes by John. He really went down there to find out if he still had the desire to go through a minor league season and get on those non-chartered flights and take some bus trips. And it's not as glamorous, obviously, as it is at the big league level, and he found he did, and he played brilliantly.
Yeah, sometimes you need to find out if you can go back to where you came from. And if you can, then you can work your way back up to the top.
McKay, 1 ball, 1 strike. Cody left with a .230 average. So that was up. He started to get some key hits for the Cardinals after that first month where he really struggled.
He was 7 for 15 in the 6 games prior to being sent out.
Remember what happened was Matheny got hurt. The Cardinals called up Molina. Matheny got healthy after 15 days on the DL, and then the decision came down that they'd keep Molina and send McKay out, and McKay was very classy with the way he handled his demotion.
Hit 300, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs in 17 August games. So Cody's not a kid, and he's seen good and bad. He's seen the business side of this game. It's not always roses. What he had, 2 at bats coming into this season.
Yeah, I was
Major
gonna
League
say,
at bats.
I mean, looking back on this season, even though I'm sure he was frustrated when he got sent out, going to spring training, who knew? There's great movement. You can see why they like Peavy moving the ball in and out. He has his first 1, 2, 3 inning, 5th inning now. 4-1 Cardinals. Our Aflac trivia question tonight. All this Cardinal offense, we'll give you this. When was the last time a trio of teammates all finished in the top 3 of the MVP voting?
Good question.
There used to be only one MVP, right? For the American League and National League. It's like there was one Cy Young. I'm
maybe
5% sure on
okay. You know where I would think maybe? I'm going to pick the Yankees in around the 60s.
There's ball 1 down and away. Early 60s.
Like Maris and Mantle.
Yeah.
Throw in somebody else.
1 ball, no strikes on Mark Loretta, who's 2 for 2.
But I'd have no idea.
Shallow left. Out is Edgar. In is Mabry, and a nice sliding catch. Out number 1. Loretta's finally retired.
He said he's going to hustle. It took every bit of that hustle to get to that ball.
There are some guys that you say, oh, he timed it or he's showboating or whatever, but I think Mabry in that case has a nice controlled slide and probably helped him a little bit to be under control when that ball was coming down, because he was giving it all he had to get there. Here's Giles. Ball 1. What are they making that child catch?
Money.
The 1-0. That's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bryan, who has a hit and a sac fly. One ball, 1 strike on Giles with 19 home runs. He has 1 in this series. He takes ball 2.
Cody trying to get together with Jeff on signs, and Jeff being very patient.
Cody put down the right one that time, a sinker to make it 2-2.
Yeah, Cody likes that sinker, and Jeff's trying to pitch.
Cody's saying, look, I read the paper, I get the clippings, I know how good this defense is, just haven't beat it into the ground.
Cutter in on him.
And a pop-up. That was a great pitch. Albert for out number 2. Our Aflac trivia question was, when's the last time a team finished 1, 2, 3 with players, a trio of teammates finished 1, 2, 3 in the MVP voting?
Oh, I knew that one.
Robinson, and Powell. That was in 1966, the world champion Orioles.
Look at the difference in the home runs and batting average. I guess Brooksy's defense is so important. His .269 average was acceptable.
With 2 out, down and in, 1 ball, no strikes. That was group of players have played behind another very good pitching staff. Back in the 60s for the Orioles.
4 20-game winners.
Cuellar,
Palmer. McNally. Dobson. Pat Dobson.
Who forever has been an advanced scout
For San Francisco and does a very good job.
Here's a 2-0. Nevin just took the mask off the face of Cody McKay. 2 balls and a strike. Dobson was a pitching coach for the San Diego Padres. In fact, was a pitching coach when Andy Benes was there. Former #1 overall pick out of Evansville.
You know, you can show people, you can tell people, but you can't pitch for them.
Well, Suppan against the 3 toughest hitters in this lineup made some great pitches in this 5th inning. And down go the Padres 1, 2, 3. Loretta, Giles, and Nevin. Cardinals lead by 3. Bottom of the 5th. Hitter with smooth base running is the Ford Focus with $3,000 cash back or low 0% financing to qualified buyers. Only at your quality Ford stores. Your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Suppan first up. Took a ball. Slaps at it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeff, his first time, grounded out 2 first. So 0 for 1 and 2 out of 47 on the season. Dangerous foul ball back into the seats, and it's 1 and 2. Suppan's a little late with these swings. That's ball 2. 2 and 2.
Sizing up the defense. Now watch, he'll turn on one.
Not yet.
I think they're going to work him away and defense him that way too. Look at, they're all laughing at him.
That's into right center field and a hit. It gets behind the center fielder long for a moment, but Giles is there to back up, and 3rd hit of the year. Applause from Woody, but just before that he was screaming for Suppan to go for 2.
All right, base hit. Now he gets away from long. Go, go. Come on, show us your wheels.
He yelled himself into a cough. Looked like that ball might just trickle away, but Long got enough of it to stop it. Giles was there for San Diego. Now Womack after the leadoff hit. Tony's 1 for 2. It is so easy to overlook the addition of Tony Womack, and the Cardinals have not had this type leadoff hitter for a long time. I know Vini was a great player here, but Womack getting on, stealing bases. He got his 21st earlier in this game. He's come up with some big hits, and he's played a very good second base.
Yeah, you could tell once his elbow was getting better and better, defense was improving. Not that it was that shabby at the beginning of the season, but his footwork was very crucial, taking the strain off his throwing arm. And he's just a good guy. I mean, several times he's come up to the broadcast team and said, you know, hey, I'm new here. Am I fitting in all right? Am I doing the things I should be doing? And Tony, just keep on playing.
Ball 1 up and away, 1 and 2. Broken bat, out number 1, and Suppan with decent base running not to get doubled up. 1 on, 1 out. Larry Walker is coming up. We know what happened on that last pitch. The pitch by pitch is brought to you by Chevrolet.
You see, kind of worked him away there to get started, and then kind of the cutter in on him. Just keeps on challenging him there. playing defensively around the other way, but he's going in and out, and that's about the 4th bat that Peavy has broke tonight.
Walker fouls the first off to the left.
All these clubs come in here, and first time they've seen the Cardinals since the Walker trade, and they just kind of chuckle when they say he's batting second.
Walker pops it down the line, and that should stay in play for Klesko. That ball carried a long way. 2 out. So a leadoff hit by Subban, but now the next 2 have been retired, and in steps Albert.
Mary Walker also said he'll never see a intentional pass either.
No kidding. Albert, a home run. He singled home a run. He has 106 RBIs on the season, and he's gaining on Rolen. Pujols now tied for second in the National League with Vinny Castilla of Colorado with the 106. Rolen, the guy on deck, has 115. Off the end of the bat, that ball might fall. Long is going to play it on a hop.
Boy.
And it's 2 on with 2
Boy,
out.
do you appreciate it, Jim Edmonds, and the Cardinal center fielder, when you see a ball like that fall in. And in fairness to Terrence Long, he's not a center fielder. That's why they've had Guzman, but the Cardinal veteran pitching staff has really carved up the young, speedy outfielder. But he just really didn't have a good read on the ball, and then he just tried to deke the runner. But that ball is an easy out, and the inning is over if Cardinal center fielder is out there. Because he might trip on his pants too.
Here's Rolen. Ball 1. Runners on at first and second, 2 out. Cardinals trying to add to a 4-1 lead. The count evens, a ball and a strike. So with Pujols gaining on Rolen, see if Scott can knock home some runs.
I don't know if I totally agree with their defense, having their center fielder play on the right field side. A lot of gap at left center.
Strike 2.
Look at all this room out in here for Scott Rolen, and then they've seen a couple off-speed pitches, change up, slider.
Rolen's jammed and he fights it off. That's as hard as Peavy's thrown all night. 93 miles per hour in on Rolen. Subban, the lead runner at second. He started the inning with a hit. Pujols continued it with a flare hit with 2 out into left center.
He started the year at 22 years of age, and he's getting bigger and stronger every year.
A 1-2. Rolen's jammed again, and that's going to get out of play also.
He was supposed to go to Auburn University, Peavy, and that's why he fell down to the 15th round, and then he changed his mind and signed with the Padres. Otherwise, he would have been drafted a lot higher.
Rolen's trying to figure him out. 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Now he's drilled to load him up for Edmonds. Clearly, with 2 on and 2 out and 2 strikes on the hitter, that one just got away from Peavy, and now he has to deal with the red-hot Jim Edmonds.
And just trying to go a little further in. See, it jammed Scotty a couple times, but once again, you don't want to walk anybody in front of these guys. You don't want to hit people, push them that much closer, but it does make it a little more dramatic.
Bases loaded, 2 out. Edmonds now with 100 RBIs, 39 home runs. Strike one. Lead runner is Suppan. The middle runner is Pujols, and the trailer is Roland.
He's hit 18 home runs since the All-Star break.
He's hit 3 in this series, two nights ago. A 2-run shot in the first. 0-2.
You like the aggressiveness of Peavy. He challenges guys. He goes after them. He's got good enough stuff and changes speeds. You can see why they really like this young man's makeup. Try and go up the ladder on Jimmy.
And
that's not high enough for Jim's strike zone.
Going to say nothing's too high.
Right. Well, nothing's too high that he will swing. And they kind of shade him to the other field. And we know Jim has good power to left center, but he also can launch one out in the right field or really any part of the ballpark.
Another 0-2 pitch with the bases loaded is just down and away. Ball one.
Pretty good pitch there. Change up, down and away. Made sure when he was ahead in the count 0-2 that he got it far enough away. Maybe it'd roll over.
That's toward his hitting coach, Mitchell Page, and Mike Matheny enjoying his day off, having to duck. Still 1-2 on Jim. Edmonds, wow, that pitch just missed. Another good delivery from PV, and he doesn't get the call.
It's off the plate, but it's a very effective pitch and get a lot of hitters. But Jim seeing the ball pretty well.
PV talking to himself before this 2-2 delivery. Edmonds was waiting on that one. 75, 76 miles per hour, and it's still 2-2. 7-pitch at bat here for Edmonds against Peavy with the bases loaded.
The more pitches you see, the better your chances, and pitcher will make a mistake, and it's up to you to be able to do something with it.
Here we go again on 2-2. And another foul ball by Edmonds. He goes through stretches where he will declare himself locked in, and right now is one of those stretches. He is getting good rips.
And that was a very good pitcher's pitch that he fouled off, got a little piece up.
Edmonds with the bases loaded. This crowd wanting to see something big. 2-2 again. Wow. What a swing that was. Dangerous pitch from Peavy.
That pitch was right up there where Jimmy probably was thinking, oh, he got away with one. Good at bat, no matter what, wearing him down.
Cardinals do that so well against the opposing starters. Oh, this kid has made 3 pitches that if they've missed by inches.
Oh man, you know Bruce Bochy and the Padres want that one. I'm sorry, that's the 2 strikes and that many pitches. That's awfully tough to take that one. I don't think Jim would have said a word if he got rung up.
Runners will tiptoe. It's 3-2. Inning is over, and Peavy pumps his fist. The young right-hander just did a great job to keep his team in the game. 6th inning, 4-1 Cardinal. Jeff Suppan heads back to work. Beltran has helped the Astros climb right back into the wild card race. They are 3 out. They'll stay 3 out. They're off. They go to Pittsburgh, and they host Pittsburgh next. Chicago, they lead the Giants by game. Chicago has a 3-game date with the Florida Marlins that is up in the air.
Joe, the interesting thing is where did the Florida Marlins fly to?
Klesko fouls it away. The Marlins, right, they were in New York. They ended up winning again today. And it's a very good question. If you fly down there, you may fly down there, try to get things secured, and then get out of there.
See, part of the problem is, and we found this out when we were in Miami a couple years ago with a potential hurricane, is Joe Robbie Stadium is an evacuation center. So they could have a situation where they were not allowed to play games there if they had a terrific storm that was hit and needed that, for, rescue operations.
Here is a 2-1 to Klesko. That's smashed down the right field line. And
Still
it'll
playable.
be a double for Klesko to start the inning. That thing was by Pujols before Albert could blink. Albert waved at it as it went past.
See, he's ready. He's on his toes and beyond him. And it goes off that facing. That's what the safe signal is. It didn't go into the stands. It's no fan interference. Ball's in play.
Jake Peavy may have given his team a chance by getting out of that jam in the bottom of the 5th inning. That long at bat with Edmonds, a real good battle, and the last 2 pitches that Peavy made were terrific.
Great pitches, but it takes such a mental toll on you.
Long is an easy out. He doesn't waste much time, does he? He goes after the first pitch, 1 on 1 out, and he does not advance a runner, and the Padres have done that a few times in this series. What's on Tap is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold fresh Budweiser. It's game time, and game time tomorrow night is 7:10. We'll be on the air, at least Dan and Al will, 6:30 tomorrow night on FSN Midwest.
Tankersley and Neal are warming up in the bullpen in case they get down to the pitcher spot.
Tankersley is St. Louis. He's getting loose. That's the picture they're getting in San Diego. That's their feed, and they're not going to like that. After a leadoff double, 2 easy outs as Edmonds takes care of Green, and it's going to be up to Ramon Hernandez. Our hot pitch of the game is brought to you by Hardee's, and you can really go all the way back to the 1st inning. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. 3-2 pitch to Nevin from Suppan.
And he just challenges them with a fastball, throws it right on by him. Jeff has flirted with danger all night. He's had base runners on virtually every inning except for the 2nd and 5th, but he's executed the pitches when he's needed to.
Padres have left 6. The Cardinals, even after leaving the bases loaded in the bottom of the 5th, have left only 4. That moves back in for a strike to Hernandez, who committed the error, and now at the plate is 0 for 2. He gets a chance here, though, to chip away at the Cardinal lead, which is 4-1 in the 6th. '79 hits this season for Hernandez, 14 of which have left the park, and that's into right center. That's Larry Walker, and the Padres waste a leadoff double. They did not advance a runner. They don't do any damage. Bottom of the 6th, Suppan is rolling along. Edgar Renteria first up for the Cardinals. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-1. Cardinals have out hit the Padres 8-6. Both starters have been, for the most part, very solid. Suppan's been a little better than Peavy. Edgar tonight is 1 for 2. Strike 1. Renneria is hitting .295 now. Flirting with that 300 mark for a long time. Oh, and 2. On deck is Mabry and then Cody McKay, who had to take over after Yadier Molina left with an injured right knee. Word we got was that he took a foul tip off it, then tried to run on a double play he hit into in the second. Tried to go out and continue catching in the third and couldn't do it. Hopefully he's okay. The 1-2 pitch to Renteria is high, 2-2. Big crowd here tonight. We've had crowds of around 30,000 this entire series, and it appears to be in that neighborhood again as Renteria fouls another. It's still 2-2. Bottom of the 7th at Boston. The Red Sox leading 4-3 over Anaheim. This crowd can check out these scores on the manually operated scoreboard in the outfield. 2 finals in the National League and then 2 West Coast games, or at least 1 West Coast game, 1 desert game with LA at the Diamondbacks. 2-2. Now Renteria's in a battle. It's no small point that you make about the way the Cardinal hitters get into that mode where they are just trying to make contact and wait for a mistake, and it really runs the pitch count up for these starters as Renteria strikes out for the first out. 5 strikeouts for Peavy. Tonight on the Best Damn Sports Show period, Kyle Turley will stop by, give his prediction for this upcoming season, plus Lisa Fernandez and the women of the U.S. softball squad stop by to show off their gold. Catch the Best Damn Sports Show period tonight at 11 only on FSN.
Now Kyle's out for the year, right?
He is on IR. He is finished for the season and maybe forever. Mabry grounds out, 2 out. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC. Here's Cody McKay, 0 for 1. Turley had disc surgery and probably pushed it too soon coming back, and not only herniated the disc where he had the operation, but the one above it. That's foul. Strike 1 on McKay. So that really hurts because the Rams had a combination of Pace and Turley, and now because of contract situation with Pace, they have neither one of them. You can start to read and feel the frustration on the part of the Rams that Pace has let this drag on. He knows what he's going to make, just over $7 million. It's just a question of when he signs it and when he gets into camp. There goes to the facility. 0-2 on McKay.
That's tough to I think a party would smooth over everybody's feelings too.
Yeah. But some guys didn't bother showing up. McKay is gone. Peavy's made his best pitches the last couple of innings, and we go to the 7th. Cardinals on top still, 4-1. Inning now, and here we are again, Al. It's the Cardinals in the lead. It's the Cardinals starter still on the mound and giving the Cardinals another quote-unquote quality start.
Yeah, one of those quote-unquote quality starts, and as we mentioned earlier, an arbitration stat agents came up with to explain why, or put a higher value on their pitcher because he didn't have a good one-loss record. But the Cardinal starters have been outstanding. They lead the major leagues in quality starts. Got another one working here tonight. And Kerry Robinson. There you see.
He got a nice hand when he was announced. Here in the 7th, leading off for Peavy, who's finished after 6. He struck out 6 and allowed 4 runs on 8 hits. Only 1 run was earned. The Cardinals got 3 in the first after the error by the catcher. guys like to go after the first pitch, don't they?
That's good. That also keeps those pitch counts low. So you can get another inning out of Suppan.
Hit batsman, a couple of home runs allowed by Peavy. And in the walk department, I have him down for 1. Robinson fouls another. It's 0-2. I will forever remember the home run that Kerry Robinson hit here last year against the Cubs when the Cubs and Cardinals were battling for first place, second half of the season. And he hit a game winner in the 9th inning, which shocked everybody. And what a moment that sure was for a kid who grew up in St. Louis, playing in front of friends and family, beating the Cubs with 1 swing. Ball 1 from Suppan.
Saw Kerry's family last night after the game. They're all happy to see Papa.
1-2 pitch. Robinson almost was hit by the pitch. 2-2. The Cardinals get Cal Eldred loose in their bullpen. Padres will need a new starter in the 7th, or a new pitcher rather, after their starter Peavy has been lifted. Suppan on 2-2. Foul tip that caught both McKay and Dale Scott, the home plate umpire. Cody likes that sinker.
Now the curveball.
On 2-2, and Robinson another foul ball. Kerry was a guy who originally was in the Cardinal organization. Then he was exposed in the expansion draft taken by Tampa Bay. Got up to the big leagues with the Devil Rays, but then was turned loose and re-signed with the Cardinals and was at times a valuable guy for Tony La Russa. Here's a 2-2 from Suppan, and Robinson another foul.
Kerry at times just had a little trouble wondering why guys that he competed against in the minor leagues, and maybe Kerry had superior numbers, were given legitimate shots and playing every day in the big leagues, and he wasn't. He's always hit well in AAA. And in his mind, probably never given a legitimate shot to see what he could do over an extended period of time.
Robinson is on to start the inning. Good at bat by Kerry Robinson. 1 foul ball after another, and now he starts it with a double here in the 7th. That's not been the problem for San Diego, getting them on. It's been getting them over and then in. These Cardinal fans remember the days when Kerry was with the Cardinals, and they applaud this double.
And that's a dangerous pitch to a guy like Kerry Robinson. He's legitimately that low ball hitter from the left side. You know, some lefties today are becoming more and more high ball hitters, like a Jim Edmonds, but Kerry's the old vintage prototypical left-hander that loves the ball down and in.
Here's Ramon Vasquez. Ramon 1 for 3. Struck out with 2 on and 2 out his last time up. For the last 5 innings, the Padres have put their leadoff man on. And only 1 time have they scored. That was in the 3rd on a sac fly by Giles.
2 times, the 3rd and the 4th, they got the first 2 runners on.
I wonder if this is a night we'll see Ankiel. That's it.
There it is.
Tony La Russa. He has seen enough.
The only thing I might say is we may not see Ankiel tonight because he had that bullpen session yesterday. We might give him a full day off and then see him Friday or over the weekend. Cal Eldred's coming in now.
6+ for Suppan. He leaves. He can only be the winner if he gets a decision into the weekend. And if you want to get in on this Cardinal baseball fun, see it for yourself. Call 425-0600. Here is a call to the bullpen brought to you by the St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel, the official hotel of FSN Midwest. It's Eldred.
He's been very busy of late. Appeared in 19 times in the Cardinals' last 44 games. Got his 10th hold on Saturday. He was not available on Sunday as he had a death on his wife's side of the family. And Ray will take over in left field as part of the double switch. Cal Eldred, Joe, has allowed just 6 earned runs in his last 38 and a third innings, covering 27 appearances for a 141 average. And he's really been outstanding containing the left-handed batters, much better than the right-handed hitters. Lefties are batting 191 against him, right-handers 295.
1 run on 7 hits and 6+ innings from Suppan. He walked 2, struck out a couple. Here is Vasquez, and there is a strike on the outside corner. A leadoff double by Robinson. And then the pitching change to bring in Eldred.
Blaine Neal is warming up for the Padres, so we assume he will be the next pitcher.
Good pitch, and on the hands, 91 miles per hour, 0-2.
He's going to throw strikes, and he's going to challenge you.
Langford is in the number 9 spot, playing left field, and Mabry will sit the rest of the night. Pitcher is in the number 7 spot. No balls, 2 strikes. Vasquez has 7 RBIs this season. He and the Padres need to come up with a key hit, and yet again they don't advance the runner unless Robinson wants to test Edmonds, and he knows better. And the situational hitting for the Padres has been terrible in this 3-game series. Dave Magadan, who is the hitting instructor, has got to be just as frustrated.
Well, you go back to, it's not so much what the batting instructor preaches. Great example of that is Rod Carew with Milwaukee. He set a record for strikeouts, and that's the opposite of Rod.
Runner at second, 1 out now, and Mark Loretta is the hitter, and there is Dave Magadan, longtime New York Met. They have not been able to take advantage of leadoff extra base hits for the last 3 nights, and that has really been the case tonight. They got a leadoff double in the 6th inning. Long fly to left.
And it's almost as if they do not think at all about situational hitting. A lot of times just going up there swinging at the first pitch. No thought process.
That's into left center field, and that's a hit. Robinson will be held at third, and it's 1st and 3rd.
Why?
With 1 out. There was no way Edmonds was going to throw Robinson out.
Absolutely none. And Jim was going to make sure that he'd keep that ball low enough to keep Loretta at first base. That was what they were more. The Cardinal defense is concerned about keeping Loretta out of scoring position, concede the run to Robinson. Now you can get to double play ball and get out of the inning.
Only in the 7th, so chipping away if you're the Padres is worth it. But there was no way Robinson was going to be thrown out by Edmonds, having to go that far to his right to get that ball on a bounce.
Well, the only way it would have been is if it would have fell down. Throws even off line.
The throw was nowhere. I mean, where was that throw supposed to go?
I think the throw was really, you know, is throwing it to Pujols to where he'd have an opportunity to make that decision if they see if they could trap Loretta. He wasn't really thinking about trying to stop the run from scoring.
So it's 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Duncan has his quick visit, and Giles represent the tying run at the plate.
You know, it's sometimes you have to concede a run and stop the merry-go-round. Try and make that throw and throw the high throw, and the guy goes into scoring position. That's when you all of a sudden the big crooked number starts coming up.
Giles now now takes a fastball for a strike. Well, if Padres don't get something here, they will really leave this top of the 7th inning frustrated. Not only getting a leadoff double, but the hit by Loretta is 3rd of the night that did not bring Robinson home. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now they have legitimate shots with Giles and Nevin to try and break, get a 3-run home run. They also have legitimate shots to get a double play.
Here's a 1-1. And that gets away from McKay. He can't find it, so the run scores anyway. Down to second is Loretta, and it's a 4-2 game. Wild pitch. Plates Robinson.
Cody, not as refined as Matheny, but that ball has to be stopped. When you got a runner there at third base, you got to get down and use that technique to try and keep it in front of you. Didn't use the body, didn't use the throwing your shoulders forward, engulfing the ball, keeping it right at the plate.
Here's a 2-1 to Giles. That's a strike on the inside corner. 2-2. Suppan officially threw 98 pitches. And he now watches from the bench.
Another run charged to his ledger.
That closes the book on Suppan. 2 runs on 7 hits. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 6+ innings. And still 2-2 on Giles. He is the tying run at the plate. Another 2-2. Giles, a weak ground ball up the middle. Renteria, tough play. 2 out. What a good play by Edgar on the other side of the bag. Not only had to deal with a bad hop, but had to deal with Womack, who was right there to his left.
Look at their crossing pattern, and then got that little stutter step to get his feet under control. Look how close they were to contact, and then make a strong throw to get Giles at first. Loretta goes to third.
Now it's Nevin. Ball 1. I will tell you what Phil Nevin is in this series after this at bat. Unless Al blurts it out, which I know you're fighting yourself to not do here. With
I won't.
A 1-0 pitch coming his way. Ooh, dangerous foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hopefully everybody's okay over above the Cardinal dugout. Nevin was looking over there for a moment. 1 ball, 1 strike. It looks like everybody is okay. That can be a frightening spot to sit. A 1-1. Good pitch. 1-2. We'll just say this at this point. Nevin has been thoroughly frustrated. Not only ejected last night, Cardinal pitching has done a job on this cleanup hitter for the Padres. This time McKay keeps it at the plate. It's 2-2. See if Eldred can end this 7th inning and keep a 2-run lead. The Cardinals will have Langford, Womack, and Walker in the bottom of this 7th. That's flying into left field. Back is Langford at the track. Nevin's 0 for 10. We go into the bottom of the 7th. 7th. It's time to stretch. Suppan can exhale. The Cardinals still lead. It's 4-2 over the Padres. We'll lead it off for the Cardinals in this 7th after taking over in the double switch. And our call to the bullpen is brought to you by the St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel, the official hotel of FSN Midwest, and it's the right-hander Blaine Neal.
See his numbers, appearing for the 30th time. There's no left-handers in their bullpen. They're all right-handers, and you know, one of the nice luxuries the Cardinals have had is by scoring so many runs and always taking a lead. Many times they don't get a chance to see the other team's best closer. Trevor Hoffman, one of the best in the game today.
Langford's first at bat since being recalled from his injury rehab, takes the ball outside. Ray left with a .258 average, 5 homers and 19 RBIs. A 1-0 from Neal. 2-0. Ray went on the DL with a right wrist sprain, and he missed 36 games.
Did get 9 rehab games at AAA, but he's much happier right now.
And he is up on the count, 3-0. Well,
Ray had a lot of conversations with some of his teammates trying to tell him to go to rehab so he could come back and be a part of this. Sometimes it's not easy if you've been the long-time major league player that he has and distinguished yourself. If you want to play next year, you had to do it.
sitting on a 3-1 pitch, 3-2. You remember Langford was the guy a few years ago that the Cardinals traded to get Woody Williams from San Diego, so he's a former Padre.
And he's also the Busch Stadium all-time home run leader, and he will keep that record.
3-2 to Ray. Good rip. 93 miles per hour from Neal, and it's still a full count. Womack will follow, and then Walker, so 3 lefties. Tony La Russa can stack them up because Al told you Padres don't have a lefty in their pen. 3-2. Ray pops it up. That will stay playable. Vasquez 1-up. Cardinal Baseball, a production of Bud Sports. It is an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest as Tony Womack walks in. They're in the 9th inning at Boston. The Red Sox trying to sweep the Anaheim Angels. Red Sox lead by a run. Womack takes a strike on the inside corner. Tony has a hit in 3 trips, a single, a stolen base, and a run scored in the 4th. He scored on a flare hit by Albert Pujols, who has 2 RBIs tonight. The other 2 belong to Edmonds, 2-run shot in the 1st. Here's an 0-2. 0-1. Womack is gone. Neal throwing hard. 93 miles per hour for out number 2. With the bases empty, Larry Walker will be the hitter. St. Louis fans, visit STLCardinals.com. The #1 site for live game pitch-by-pitch coverage. MLB.tv and MLB.com game day audio. STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Sometime before the end of the year, I'm going to read that promo and understand it. Walker takes the ball low. A lot of dots.
Oh yeah.
You
dot.
dot savvy, internet cruising former left-hander?
No.
I mean, you're still a left-hander, but former big league left-hander?
Or cruising.
Or cruising. Internet cruising? No. Walker is at the plate with a 1-1 count.
I'm a surfer.
He grew up out there. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike.
See George Kissel?
No, is he here?
Yeah, he's got a surfing look.
I did not see that. Anaheim loses at Boston, so the Red Sox have won 9 in a row, and they lead in the wild card. Goodbye. Mid-sentence will stop and admire that from Larry Walker. A bomb into right to make it 5-2. That's his second of this series against San Diego. We have a winner. Kevin Casey is the merchandise winner. And now a qualifier for the Hyundai Santa Fe drawing in September.
Congratulations to Mr. Casey. His 12th home run for Larry Walker, 6th as a Redbird.
This is called the sweet spot on a bat.
And you know what? He's so strong. Look at him finish it off. Point of contact and then the follow through.
Fans, they're going to have to do better if they're going to get him out of the building.
You know what? I mean, the thing is Larry said he had never ever had a curtain call. Every time you hit one, we wanted to give you one.
Got a lot
there
of
it is.
To do. Yeah. Where did it land? It hit off this 5th level, the bottom of it, and then went down into the seats right over the wall and right. Was it a ton? And this Padre team has to be saying, "Uncle, we have seen it all." Pujols takes a ball on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, 1-2.
Sometimes it's interesting to see young pitchers go out there as like a gunslinger, and then they give up a home run and see if they lost all their bullets.
2-2. 438-foot home run. And he was using a bat with a number 5 on it. Why not?
A lot of home runs in those bats.
Number 5's at the plate now. And another hit for number 5. He is 4 for 4. And Long can't get to his feet, sliding for that. Pujols is going to try to get to third and hustle all the way to third. Relentless.
Joe, if they wouldn't have given him the error on that one ball, you could make an argument that he hit for the cycle tonight. It's a triple there, as Long has not really impressed us offensively or defensively. And Albert Pujols always impresses you. He's always going to hustle. If he makes errors, it's errors of aggression. And this one is just rubbing it in.
Now rolling into right center field. That ball won't be caught. 6-2, and the merry-go-round keeps on spinning. Rolen has an RBI double. Relentless.
How about hitting for the cycle here in the 7th inning naturally or backwards?
Rolen with an RBI double.
116 RBIs for the league leader.
Hey, Tony, just another word of thanks to you and Walt for bringing me here.
Gee, I'm glad I'm smart. Didn't turn down this one. Well, he even said it. He said, I knew they had some players, but I didn't know how good they were collectively. He's finding out.
Ball 1 to Edmonds. Nobody wants to be the guy to make the final out in this 7th. The heart of the order has gone homer, triple, double, and now a 2-0 count on Edmonds. All of this with 2 out to make it 6-2 and take the pressure off. And there is the box score. And you see number 5 is 4 for 4. That number 5 bat has more than one home run tonight. Albert hit one in the first. Walker using it, hit one here in the 7th.
Yeah, and Bosley, pitching coach for San Diego, coming out to talk to his young pitcher. Don't let things that's going on behind you affect it. Go right after these guys. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you really got to see what happens and how a guy reacts to adversity. We've already changed the RBI leaderboard.
10 in front of Pujols is rolling, and they are cutting up on the bench. Whatever Pujols said just cracked up Larry Walker. Meanwhile, Eldred's sitting next to him saying, I got to go back out and pitch now. Here is a 2-0 to Edmonds, 2-1.
Winning translates to a lot of fun. The winning part has to come first.
That's going to get out of play. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner at second, 2 out, and 2 runs home.
Osuna thrown in the bullpen. He was just recalled the other day.
Guy with a great right arm, but he's had a tough time staying healthy over the last 4 years. The 2-2 pitch to Edmonds is ripped into the corner. That ball's going to get down fair. It's a double, another run, and it's 7-2.
Get a starter out of the game, and you let these guys have shots at in between pitching, and they can just punish the ball.
Looks like it caught a member of the grounds crew out there over the wall. It has, with 2 out, gone homer, triple, double. It's like a good night at Wendy's. Let's go back a couple of days, shall we? David Wells was quoted out of the San Diego Union Tribune saying the Cardinals, they are very beatable. Not in this series, it doesn't appear, by the San Diego Padres. These two will meet next week out in California.
David Wells has been gone a while, and he didn't know that the Cardinals are 32-6 since the start of the '99 season.
Against San Diego. The call to the bullpen is brought to you by the St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel, the official hotel of FSN Midwest. And here is Antonio Osuna. Renteria now trying to deliver Edmonds. He's at second after an RBI double. Strike 1. Homer, triple, double. Renteria now 1 for 3. If they want, they could not have to deal with Renteria here. Put him on and pitch to Eldred. Cardinals don't have anybody getting loose in their bullpen, and I don't think with the score being what it is, they want to dip any deeper into their pen, but they're going to work to Renteria, so maybe he can make them pay.
Cal stretch out a little bit. Osuna's been on the disabled list twice this year and missed 89 games.
2-1. Larry Walker got it started with a 438-foot home run. Just below the upper deck into right. And his teammates continue to pound. 3-1 on Renteria, and Eldred is preparing for what would be his 5th at bat of the season. Might as well just put him on. Up the middle, Nice play by Khalil Green. Got a great jump on that ball and took a hit away from Renteria. The Cardinals with an offensive explosion. Another night. More big swings, more big hits, and a lot of runs. 7 runs on 12 hits. We go to the 8th. 7-2 Cardinals over the Padres. Solution. How many revolutions did that ball make as it went 438 feet into right? 2 general managers.
2 guys are very good friends, have great respect for each other.
One guy is sitting pretty with his team running away with their division and looking toward an exciting October, and the other is hoping that his team can get there. And this is a major stumble by this Padres team coming in here to St. Louis and playing like this. But they have some time to make up for it. They've got 2 innings left, trailing by 5. Klesko, Long, and Green will be the hitters against Eldred. That is a rocket into right. Walker makes sure he grabs it on that first bounce, and the leadoff man is on for the Padres. Ho hum, it happens again. 5 out of the last 6 innings, the Padres have done that. Now Terrence Long.
Okay, so let's see a first pitch swing. And it's true to form. It'd be another pop-up.
Let's see if he does go after that first pitch. Yep. Strike 1. You know, you make a good point about Ankiel throwing on the side and being impressive, and maybe tonight's not the night. And I know Tony La Russa wouldn't answer the question and give you a public response to what the perfect situation would be to get Ankiel into a game, but I wonder what the answer is. I wonder if it's a game like this. Do you wait for a blowout? Do you have to make sure you get him into action before he sits too long? I mean, what's it going to take to get him out of that bullpen into a game?
And I think Tony's thought of all those scenarios, and whether it's tomorrow night or Saturday or Sunday, whichever one pops up, the blowout, the the close game where you need that second left-hander.
There you go. Double play, good all around, and Long with a nice save to grab Pujols before he took a dive. 5-4-3.
That was his best play of the night.
It was easily the best play of the night. That'll make him a fan favorite in St. Louis.
He hit that ball well, but sometimes you have to do that in order to turn to. Tony Womack, he had to race to the bag, and then that disrupted his timing a little bit. And there you see those soft hands by Albert, and really Terrence Long kind of inadvertently kind of pulled him and started him his momentum going face first, so turned around to help him out and right the ship.
Now Khalil Green with 2 out, nobody on. Albert was close in having to stretch for that throw, pulling his foot off the bag.
He's going to win a Gold Glove. You believe me now, don't you?
I did not believe you early in the season, only because I don't think there's anything he can't do. Who remembers 3 years ago when, or I guess it was, 3 years ago in the All-Star game when Albert Pujols ended the game
Shortstop.
playing second base.
Was it second base?
Second base in an All-Star game.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if he had to turn a double play, he might not have been able to do it. But if he didn't, he would have gone down trying. Here comes a 2-1 to Green. How good is that throw by Rowland on the double play? And he was off balance, having to take in that ground ball.
Well, remember, it's the range to his left to get there. And then you got your second baseman racing, so he slows up enough. He gets a chest high. That's where you want it. Just right there, chest high. And it leads the runner perfectly. I mean, that's that textbook. And of course, remember, Tony Womack is kind of, he's got a left-hand hitter. He's playing off the bag. He's got to run all the way to the bag, and yet his third baseman was conscious enough to guide the ball to him, but then he has trouble with the push-off, so it forces a little bit of an errant throw. But Albert at the other end helps out there.
That should do it for 7.5 innings. Top of the 8th inning. Padres put their leadoff man on, but again do nothing with it. Green flies to center. Bottom of the 8th. Good work by Cal Eldred. The Cardinals lead it 7-2. 7-2. The Cardinals are on top as we move into the bottom of the 8th inning. And Mitchell Page has to be awfully proud with what his guys are doing again tonight. So is the Suntrup Automotive family. 3 more home runs hit. 184 on the season. Another curtain call for Larry Walker, and Suntrup Automotive family donates $100 to their Win One for the Kids charity fund every time the Cardinals hit a home run. Here's Roger Cedeno first up. He's pinch hitting for Cal Eldred. 1 ball, 1 strike. Randy Flores, the new left-hander, will appear in the 9th inning. Had a good year at AAA.
He's had a little bit of big league experience.
Strike 2 on Cedeno.
Cedeno and Osuna were probably teammates with the Dodgers, weren't they? You have to assume that.
Yeah.
I think those uniforms are gorgeous.
Still 1-2.
Nothing's better looking than the Cardinal uniform.
Nope.
So they're the second best uniform in the stadium.
In the stadium, yes, I'll give you that. Cedeno hitting .269, trying to get on and start the 8th inning and come up with a successful pinch hitting experience. It's 2-2 now. Osuna came on to get out of the 7th. Cedeno, then Cody McKay, then Ray Langford. Hard hit, center field, Terrence Long, 1 out. One out for Cody McKay.
See if Cody can't make contact.
Adrian Beltre tonight hit number 43 for the Dodgers as they lead at Arizona 3-2 in the 5th.
Well, so did Pujols.
He hit number 43. He had a 4-for-4 night, including a triple. McKay, strike 1. Colorado just put up 2 on San Francisco in the 2nd. Kennedy against Schmidt. And the only other game of playoff implication importance would be the Boston Red Sox beating Anaheim 4-3 while the Yankees win again 9-1 over Cleveland. 1 ball, 1 strike on McKay.
Post-game pasta hasn't tasted very good for Socia lately, has it?
No. Going into Boston, they just got swept. And they trail in the wild card by 4.5. And they trail in their division now by 4 behind Oakland.
And Tony La Russa was made aware of a interview that one of the talk shows had with Sparky Anderson, a guy that's very instrumental in his managerial career. And Tony was, the Hall of Fame manager. Sparky Anderson said some wonderful things about Tony La Russa, and he got a copy of that tape and was played for him and brought tears to his eyes. The compliments were paid for him. And then there was also in that interview, there were some things that were said about George Kissel from Sparky Anderson. Kissel here tonight. Tony played that for Kissel, and Kissel started crying.
It's an emotional year.
It's an emotional year. Look at George. He's bleaching his hair now. It's all combed back. You know, he's a surfer dude.
McKay rips one into deep right center field. That ball is back at the wall and caught by Giles. He doesn't get the credit for being a very good outfielder, but he goes and gets him as well as anybody playing a corner spot. That was a great catch.
Long run, and reaches out at the warning track and makes the play. And Cody can't buy a hit.
That ball was given a ride. Here's Ray Langford. I had not seen George Kissel until right then. That's the first time I've seen him with the new do. That's like seeing Bob Barker for the first time when he showed up on The Price is Right with the white hair. An icon, and he's got the new look. One of the sweetest, hardest working guys ever to be in the game of baseball. And you can go generation to generation, and guys swear up and down about how good an instructor George Kissel is in the minor leagues for the Cardinals.
Learned from Branch Rickey. George is going to be 84 years of age, and when he came to professional baseball, he was a very rare commodity, a college graduate, and basically is, you know, written the Cardinal way to play baseball.
Langford takes a strike. He and my dad used to sit down in the players lounge before games, and my dad would have his little peanut butter sandwich every night. The two would talk for about half an hour telling baseball stories.
To see all the visiting managers and coaches and players that, you know, been around a while, that are aware of George Kissel, how they always seek his advice or just want to remember about some little thing that he said to him, from his little anecdotes. There's Mike Jorgensen sitting there with him.
Langford stays up there at 3-2. Coming up after this game, the Midwest Sports Report. Dan McLaughlin and Ozzie Smith talk defense. Also tonight, a full dose of highlights from around Major League Baseball. Tony La Russa live after the game. That's tonight, hopefully in moments, on the Midwest Sports Report. Cardinals lead 7-2. We'll get our first look at Randy Flores in the ninth inning, and what will the score be? Langford would like to pop one. He's hit 5 home runs this season. His average of 257. Second at bat, he fouled out his first time.
122 Busch Stadium home runs. He's the all-time leader. 121 of those were the Cardinals, and 1 with San Diego.
Here comes a 3-2 with 2 out. Langford rips one, but caught by Nevin. Bad break for Ray. Can't hit it any harder than that. We go to the ninth inning. Flores will take over. His Cardinal debut with Jorgie and Kissel watching. Cardinals up by 5. Have to be jumping for this left-hander, Randy Flores, who takes over. Very good relief work from Cal Eldred in relief of Suppan, who's in line for win number 14. And now our first look at Flores. We showed you those AAA Memphis numbers, and he basically takes the spot that was held by Steve Klein.
He has appeared in 28 major league games with Texas and Colorado, both in 02. He was 0-2 and a 7.45. He had 15 starts this year at Memphis, and his ERA was 7th best in the Pacific Coast League. 99 strikeouts and 122 and a 2/3 innings.
Tonight's home run hitters: Albert Pujols. He hit the first. Edmonds hit the second. Both of those happened in the first inning. And then Larry Walker, 438-foot home run into right. And it's 7-2 as we are in the ninth inning. And Tony La Russa and company are hoping they get to celebrate win number 89 against only 44 losses. First up, Will be Ramon Hernandez, the San Diego catcher. Then the pitcher spot is due, and the Padres have a pinch hitter ready to go. Then back to the top, Vasquez.
You know, Hernandez feels terrible about a misplay back in the first inning.
First pitch hacking, and he's on with a base hit. Tony La Russa will think about opening up the bullpen door again. Right now it is inactive, that bullpen. That may change. Here's Pat Paris with a preview.
Coming up next on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, the best Cards post-game coverage in town, player interviews, Tony La Russa live, and your phone calls for John Hadley at 1-888-RING-FOX, plus Dan McLaughlin with Ozzie Smith. But now back to Joe and Al.
Thanks, Pat. Miguel Ojeda steps in, one of the catchers on the San Diego team. His numbers for the season: 1 on, nobody out.
.393 against lefties.
And he's going after the first pitch. Strike 1 on Ojeda. Padres will take on Colorado next. One ball, one strike. See if the Cardinals can turn their second double play of the night. Turned one last inning. Here's a 1-1 pitch. High, 2 balls to strike. After Ojeda, then you get back to the top of the order. Aurelia's in the on-deck circle, then Loretta, then Giles. So this would be a guy that Tony La Russa hopes Flores can get. And he did. Walker doesn't see it. Found it. 1 on, 1 out. Tomorrow's game, we understand, between the Cubs and the Marlins, which was scheduled down at Pro Player Stadium, has been canceled. So as we told you, the Cubs left Montreal, and instead of flying to Florida, just went back to Chicago. And they are going to announce what they're going to do for the rest of the series by 7 a.m. tomorrow. So they've got to figure this out fast.
I guess they'll check with the storm trackers. Still seems a little optimistic, doesn't it?
Yeah. Maybe that's when they're going to decide to either play it in Chicago or go somewhere else and stay out of the state of Florida. Aurelia pinch hitting. 1 ball, 1 strike. It was surprising to so many that Aurelia had the kind of start, and really the kind of half he had with the Seattle Mariners. So poor that they just cut him loose. This is a guy who was neck and neck with Renteria for a while as being the most productive hitter among all of National League shortstops. Those years with the Giants. That's going to get out of play. Strike 2. Another guy who ended up in San Diego and had left Colorado, went to Seattle, and really struggled, is Jeff Cirillo.
Remember his period of time there where they were desperately trying to get him back to the National League or familiar settings, and he didn't want to go.
The 1-2, that's called.
You could sort of sympathize with some of those Florida Marlin players that you know they like to be near their families, or at least be united with their families in case there is tragedy and stuff.
All of that facing the state of Florida, so we'll be tracking that. Everybody will, and hoping for the best.
2 weeks ago they were hit hard, but this one has a chance to be a real monster.
Runner at first, 1 out. 2-2 the count on Aurelia. Flores trying to get the final 3 outs of this game. And he misses inside, full count. And now Tony has to go back to the phone. If Aurelia gets on, this could get interesting. That's rolling. That was a line drive, and that's the game. Cardinals win it 7-2. And the night ends, I guess, fittingly for Ramon Hernandez. Where's he going? He made a costly error in the first inning that led directly to 3 runs. And our play of the game is brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. And here is that play by Hernandez. The error on a pop-up. Not to say it was an easy play by any stretch, but he had it and lost it. And that was followed by the home run by Pujols, a walk, and a home run by Edmonds. The Cardinals never trailed in this series. Sweep San Diego, win it 7-2. They're 89-44. The Midwest Sports Report comes your way right now.